Right, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. It is the bottom line, and of course, we are coming your way live from our studios here at Rage in Accra. Tonight, we are focusing on the National Identification Authority, and of course, we'll tie in the SIM card registration issues and lots of things that have come up in the last week or last few weeks. We want to be able to situate things well. Where exactly are we with the registration of Ghana cards, which of course will now inure to people being able to register their SIM cards? The kind of collaboration they've had with the Ministry of Communications and the National Communications Authority. There are issues of Aisha Huan that's come up, issues of minority and so on and so forth. So you want to stick and stay with us tonight. If you have any question, make sure you put them across on our phone lines, which we are opening now. It's a text message you want to send or a WhatsApp message you want to send. If we have the time to pick up phone calls, I'm sure the producer will alert us, and we will be able to pick up phone calls. But for now, we are concentrating on the text messages. So our discussion tonight is on the Ghana card with the National Identification Authority. If you have any concern, send us a message on any of our portals, and we will be glad to read them. We are also live on Metro TV News page, Chairman Kwesi Free on Facebook and on all social media platforms. And we are live on DSTV channel 277. You can tweet at me your concern on Twitter at Kwesi Free or same Kwesi Free on Instagram, and I will make sure I read your message. We'll be right back. Right, so you're welcome back from the break. This is the bottom line where you can get the best of business analysis across the airwaves. So tonight, I told you that we are focusing on the National Identification Authority with all of the issues that have come up. And our numbers are currently scrolling on the screen. If you have any concern on the topic that we have for you today, don't just sit in the house and shout. We have the Director of Corporate Affairs for the National Identification Authority here in the studio, and I'm sure he would help us to be able to answer lots of the questions that we have been asking since we posted the poster or the flyer on our posts and all of the issues that have come up. Dr. Abudu Abdul Ganiyu is the Director of Corporate Affairs, National Identification Authority. Doc, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
I hope you're doing very well.
Sure. Great.
How have you been in the last 1 month, or let's say how last 2 weeks, if I should put it?
Not
yourself.
Not,
coming before the media, the banter,
exactly,
the back and forth.
Not that different, really, because that has been the case since we first launched the reinvigorated National Identification System project. Somewhere in October 2017. Indeed, Ghanaians have been very anxious, waiting for what had eluded them for a very long time. If you go into the history, our first major attempt was in the 1970s. And indeed, when we tried it after the establishment of the National Identification Authority in 2006, after a couple of registrations here and there, issuance of a few cards to Ghanaians, for a lot of people, they probably thought that it was going to go same way.
Exactly.
And we will all say the process failed once again.
I remember when you had made several attempts, even in 2017, you had made several announcements that you're going to come out with the first card, and for some technical reasons, you kept postponing the dates. Lots of anxiety in the system, whether you were going to be able to go ahead with it.
Exactly. So there were that anxiety in the system, but finally, when we did indicate that we're going to roll out on the 29th of April 2019, we did so. And we started with what we call the institutional registration, went round institutions, and people were delighted about the fact that finally they had gotten registered and issued with a Ghana card. Then we went round all the 16 regions of our country during the mass registration. Ended that in 2020, September 2020, and we announced that we're preparing to establish permanent regional and district offices for continuous registration. So clearly, it's been such a busy period for the NIA right from 2017 up to this point. We have not rested on our oars at all. And every now and then, when a state institution is ready to start offering their own services by relying on the Ghana card as a source of identity, that has often brought pressure. So certainly it's been pressure all this while, something that we are very much used to. And engaging the media is something that I have become accustomed to. It doesn't matter the time I'm called in the morning, what time of the night I am needed to be in the studio or responding to an interview through phone. My phones are always busy. So yes, so you have me this night. I'll be going home quite late to join the family. So,
right. That's what part of the hazards of the job that you're doing for Mother Ghana and for the people of the country. We are happy to have you here in the studio, and I'm going to run around a number of issues.
Okay.
I'm sure, obviously, we'll come to the issue of the SIM card registration and the brouhaha that you have been faced with. But to start with, the pressure has gone up.
Okay.
Right when the SIM card registration blockages began. Is that so?
Yes.
Maybe from the 1st of September.
Exactly. I think that a lot of people, again, took it for granted when the minister announced the extension to the end of September once again and indicated that within that month of September, they were going to start a certain gradual process. That was more like 7 people warning that if you don't go through the entire process of getting your SIM card registered, then eventually you were going to have that blocked by the end of September. So I think it's those measures that are being instituted, which now is signaling to people that they have to go and get through the entire process in order not to get their cards blocked. And for persons who have not yet registered for the Ghana card, they are also now visiting our registration
centers. Has that increased
centers.
The pressure or the demand?
No, of course, that has always increased pressure on our resources, both human and material. It has always been our hope that when the extension has been given, individuals are able to take advantage of the period, get registered for the Ghana card. Then we are all able to reduce the anxiety in the system. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. It has been extended twice. And even as we are towards the deadline now, people are still calling for an extension. And the question to ask us, how many extensions should we have?
How many extensions? I mean, the minority caucus in Parliament makes a case. Some people, vulnerable people in society also make a case. We'll come to that. Why should the SIM cards be blocked? And when the basis or the premise for which the SIM cards can be active or not, have not concluded what you have to do. I mean, there are still a number of people that are yet to be registered. So if they haven't, why block the SIM cards? We'll come to that. But let me take you back to the NIA and ask you how many people you have been able to register as we speak.
Okay, that's fine. So what we do is that we run the statistics on a weekly basis. Right. And as of Friday last week, and that is the 9th of September, we had registered in total 17,151,488. 17,151,488.
Out of the 31 million Ghanaians that we have.
Again, I would put all of this in context when I ran through all the figures I have here. So for total cards printed, we have printed 16,623,128. 16,623,128.
Right.
We have not printed 528,360 cards. 528,360 cards. We've not printed these cards yet. But we have issued 15,859,251. 15,859,251. These are cards currently in the hands of Ghanaians.
Right.
Then we have not issued, cards that have been printed but not issued are 763,877. 763,877. So in effect, these are the statistics, and to put all of that in context, these are Ghanaians who are 15 years and above.
Right.
That still remains the current phase of registration. So we are yet to roll out a phase that addresses Ghanaians who are below 15 years. But for Ghanaians who are 15 years and above, these are the registration statistics so far. Now, it does also tell us that if you go to the population and housing census, Ghanaians who are 15 years and above are estimated to be 19.9 million, about 19.9 million. So if we have registered over 17 million, then we still have some 1 million plus Ghanaians within this age bracket yet to register.
I get the mathematics.
Exactly.
I get the mathematics.
Exactly.
So if you add that 1 million to the 17 million plus this 19.9, then we get to over the 31, 32 million we are talking about.
No. You see, the 31 million you are talking about has to do with Ghanaians who are below 15 years. So let's say from 0 to 14.
Okay.
And then from 15 and above. So that total is what gives you the 31 million.
All right.
Right.
All right.
But the 19.9 million are Ghanaians who are 15 years and above. So only Ghanaians who are 15 years and above. And for this phase of registration, that has been the target group, the bracket that NIA has been registering over the last 4 years since we started registering Ghanaians, for instance. So that's where we are. And this figure gives a percentage of about 86 to 87% of that adult population. But when we set out to conduct the mass registration, our target was 80%. And by the end of the mass registration, we had achieved that. Then
87%.
About 80%. 80% was a target.
Right.
But beyond mass registration, since we set up our permanent regional and district offices, we've gone close to 90% now, and we're talking about over 17 million. So that's where we are, and that's quite very remarkable success if you consider the fact that before 2017, we had done just about 1 million and issued about 100,000 or so cards to Ghanaians. So now it's no more the case that will the national identification system succeed, but it is now about how to overcome certain challenges that people find.
You agree with me that in as much as I would want to commend you for the over 90% performance rate that you have currently, you still need to achieve 100%.
You see,
we are paying you with the taxes of our salaries, the taxes of the people of Ghana. We have given you a job. We're expecting that you deliver 100%. More especially when you are given caveats of using it as a basis for certain basic things that we need to do in the country.
Maybe we can do 99.9%, but it cannot be 100%.
You don't agree that you need to achieve 100%?
If you look at the system,
you don't need to disenfranchise anybody. You don't agree to
if you look at the system, how it is designed, and that is the case for identity management everywhere.
Right.
You are never going to have a situation where at a certain time
everybody is registered.
Exactly. You've enrolled all your citizens. That's not going to happen. Population itself is dynamic, and whatever you capture onto the register is equally dynamic. You are going to have people come in, being born today and being part of the population.
I agree.
And you are also going to have people exiting. So the law requires that even when somebody has died and family members obtain a death certificate, they should be able to come to NIA so that that record will be deleted. And the sensitization and education as it goes on, people will begin to understand.
When you identify,
it is so quite early
when you
days
identify
yet.
on your own that someone is dead, are you going to delete it without the report?
No, we cannot do that. I mean, just as you need a birth certificate or a passport to come and register, or the third option being coming with a relative to vouch for you. It's the same way that when somebody passes, the family members bring a death certificate.
When somebody like Aisha One, who has done a lot of damage to the country, leaves the country or is deported, I mean, for want of better words, legally, and you know that this person has been legally deported from the country, you don't delete from the system.
Well, we don't have any Aisha One in our system.
Ain One.
Exactly. So we have Ain One.
When you know that Ain One has been deported,
no,
you don't delete from the system.
We don't know that. We have a record of Ain One in
who
our
has been
system.
deported from the country.
And that is Ain One and not Aisha One.
But
so,
I'm saying,
I'm saying
that you know that Ain One has been deported from the country.
We don't know that.
You don't know.
We don't know
the
that.
NIA setup.
Yes.
The National Identification Authority
if a certain Aisha One has been deported, and that person really is not called Aisha One in our system, and that person turns up, and unfortunately, an officer is not able to know that it is the same Aisha One who is standing before me, despite the fact that her record in the system is 1 EN, you cannot blame anyone.
Despite the fact
that is what it is.
I mean, you're excellent at your work. However, the system has captured the biodata of this person.
Okay.
Whether you want to call her Aisha One or you want to call her Ain One.
Yes.
You are supposed to have a collaboration with the Ghana Immigration Service.
Okay.
And so the legal process of deportation goes through the system of Ghana Immigration Service. Okay. Which you have told us that the Ghana card is supposed to solve every problem, particularly in the area of digitization and digitalization. Okay. And so, if there is a biometric data of a person captured through her passport and her fingerprints, through the Ghana immigration system, and the NIA doesn't know about it, such that the person can go and come back after 4 years and get registered again. And I am here hearing or listening that the system will not make you know that Aisha One, even though biometrically captured, is still Ain One, is a system deficient.
No, not at all. When it comes to integration and harmonization, it is a process. It's not an event. We needed to build the database first. Now, that database has been built. More than 80% of your adult population captured in the database.
Yes.
It must get to a point where two databases interact so that at a border, for instance, and if an individual's biometrics are taken, then it pops up in a national database to show who the person is. We are not there yet. That integration process has been ongoing.
The NIA has not integrated yet with the Ghana Immigration Service.
That is an ongoing process that hasn't
It has
been
not gotten to the level
yet.
where we can identify Aisha One as Ain One, even though biometrically she's captured.
You see, I keep making the point that for me in identity management space, credibility, accuracy, and reliability of data is important. And whatever we do must reflect what we call the data protection law. So for an individual who registered as 1 EN since 2014, she registered since 2014.
Got renewed in 2018.
As a foreigner.
Yes.
Got renewed in 2018.
Yes.
Got renewed in 2020 at all material moments being 1 EN.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, if the person comes with a different passport, that now has a different name, one Rusia or Rusia 1, changing the date of birth to 1975, something. Now seeking to do an entirely new registration. The good thing about our system is that once the person places the fingers on the machine,
exactly my point.
Everything pops up to show that she's already in the system as 1 EN, not in the system as Aisha 1,
or not coming with the name Aisha Juan,
Yes.
there's absolutely no way you'll be able to know that is the same Aisha Juan that is in your system as 1 yen. There's absolutely no way you will know that.
I agree.
Unless, of course, you and I, who may be exposed to the media, we watch everything on the screen and everything else, then we probably saw this image somewhere on TV or in the public somewhere. Then I am the registration officer, and that lady turns up. There will be the tendency for me to suspect that why not? It looks like I've seen this face somewhere before, and you must be Aisha Juan. But that is only at the level of suspicion. Then I allow the security agencies or whatever to come in and carry out their investigations. But the good thing about our system is that for whatever purposes that Juan Ian wanted to do by changing her name to Juan Russia, we were able to prevent that. Because
But
that
she
new
still- she
registration...
still got the card.
No, wait. The new registration that she was seeking didn't go through. She wanted to change her name, so that couldn't be done. She wanted to change her date of birth. That couldn't be done. But immediately, she then asked that, I have been renewing my card since 2018. So would you allow me do a renewal again? And that one, that was within her right until we were able to establish that, no, wait a minute, this is Aisha Juan who is being sought and at some point was deported. Is that okay? Until we are able to establish that there was absolutely no way anyone could deny her the renewal of her card. That's exactly the point.
I think there was a way you could deny, or you could outrightly deny her card because, in the first place, she's presented herself as a fictitious person.
So having presented herself,
I go to the bank. I remember. Let me.
Having presented herself as a fictitious person.
Yes.
That was what led to ensuring that we didn't have to register
Why
her
didn't you get the security officers to arrest her? That this person is impersonating or presenting documents
this is after she has obtained the renewed card. You see, it was not new registration. That's a difference we must get here. Her record has always existed in the system. So the back and forth, she eventually decided that, okay, I'm going for the renewal.
Renew it
and as I said, at that point, the registration officer couldn't
Didn't know
tell
who the person
that this is the same Aisha Juan. So it was much later, when she had gotten away with the renewed card, that those matters started coming up. And that was what it is. So if you read the statement that we issued, we were so detailed about it. And we went step by step just to be able to explain to Ghanaians what the circumstances were. It simply demonstrates the robustness of our system, because imagine she had succeeded in doing that new registration, name changed, date of birth changed. Only God knows what she was going to do with that. But that was prevented.
Did you check her, should I say credibility, or her legal documents that allowed her to stay legally in the country before doing the renewal?
Well, the law simply provides that for any individual who comes into Ghana, stays beyond 90 days, a foreigner who is legally resident, that person is entitled to register for the foreigner identity card. And that foreigner identity card of 1 year was first done in 2014. So it remains in the system. And the law says you come and do a renewal every year. And over this period, she had done renewal 3 times, 2018, 2016, and then she now comes to do another renewal in 2022. So that's exactly what the situation. So it was not new registration. So the first time she came to register in 2014, all those documents would have been checked. So anytime she's coming to do a renewal, it's just a question of doing that.
But is this informing you to maybe up your game or look at your systems again?
No, it's not.
Where some people can outwit the system.
Right. So there are two
obviously
things here.
Fraud in the system, I'm sure.
No, you see, there are 2 things here. One is the vigilance of our officers. Because no matter how technically robust the system is, anyone will tell you in IT that the major risk factor you have in any organization are the human beings themselves. So for that lady in Tamale, if she probably looked at the face again and probably begin to say, okay, this person is of some color that looks like so and so person. So let me not even do this renewal of her card. Let me invite some other people to do some interrogation. That could have happened. And that applies to all our registration officers at various centers, various district offices. When individual comes and they are conducting the interview, answers that they give or information that they provide sometimes can provide some leads for suspicion. And when those suspicions arise, immediately individuals like that are handed to the CID for further interrogation. And that happens all the time. We have the CID embedded at our headquarters. In other words, we've opened an entirely new secretariat for the CID. And if you come to our office in the morning and see the long queue of persons going to meet with the CID for them to interrogate them, that will shock you. So on the human side of things, it is the vigilance that we need to begin to intensify.
Right.
And then on the technology part, you talked about harmonization.
Right.
At a point where we have fully integrated with the passport office and all these
How
other...
many of them have you integrated now? Fully integrated?
Full integration. We are
NHIS,
done with...
has to be fully integrated.
Exactly. I think we are done with NHIS.
You are done with NHIS?
Yes, we are done
There won't be a time that we'll come back to here, like we are hearing with the telecom.
Yeah, so eventually, NHIS will no more issue any identity card. The Ghana card would have your NHIS
You don't have a
information.
process of synchronization again, that we have to go around and register
No.
everybody that has an NHIA card.
Not at all. I mean, we are done with SNIT. SNIT has given a deadline of 31st December. Everyone should have merged the SNIT number with the Ghana card number. And for persons who provided their information at the point of registering for the Ghana card, if they provided their SNIT information, the integration becomes automatic. We are done with the GRA, where your Ghana card number is now your tax identification number. And of course, with the BOG, for instance, and all the commercial banks, we are told that take your Ghana card to the bank, they will update your record. And now, if the banks are able to invest in those verification machines that are needed...
I go to CBG, and when I don't have my card on me, I just place my hands.
So it's that simple.
And that's why I've had a problem with the N quote-unquote Taisha Huan saga. Because
but
when I don't have my card, it still identifies me and they pay me my money.
So that's the process I am talking about. So it started with one institution. We've moved to two.
When are you completing for the entire system, every institution?
I cannot say from where I sit. I mean, you see, it's a process that involves a lot of structural issues to deal with. There are legal issues to deal with. And of course, they are technological. And I know the meetings that have been ongoing at various technical committees to get all of these integration processes done. But we believe that somewhere next year and possibly the end of next year, maybe all integration processes would have been done. It also depends on the cooperation of Ghanaians, for instance. Look at the whole process of SIM card re-registration. It is towards integration, basically, so that your SIM card number would be registered with your Ghana card information. And wherever it is that you use a phone number, if you want to use it to commit fraud, obviously you'll be found out, right? But when extension after extension have been introduced and people are not taking advantage to go register for their cards and do the re-registration, then it becomes problematic. It slows the pace of integration, but I believe eventually we'll get there.
I have too many questions coming to me on my phone, and we'll still take your questions. If you have any concern with the Ghana card, with the SIM registration, with Aisha Huan issue, with the comments from Electoral Commission, please put them across on our WhatsApp line. I will make sure that I read every question. Please add your name when you send in your question. However, I have two major questions, and then I'll run now to the questions that are coming from viewers. And I want to ask what your level of, even though we are talking about NHIA, we are talking about the ports and harbors, we are talking about the universal banks and so on and so forth. What's your level of collaboration with the telcos and the NCA and the Ministry of Communication?
Yes, our collaboration is solid, and from the get-go at whatever stakeholder engagements that had to be undertaken, committees that had to be formed, we've worked at various levels to finally get the whole process running. And you will know that it was somewhere October last year that the process began. So we are almost a year into SIM card re-registration, and that tells you how far we have come in terms of that collaboration. So yes, we are collaborating very well.
So I'm happy you say you are collaborating very well.
Yes.
What happened when you were doing the registration and you were taking our phone numbers? If you had this collaboration with the telcos, the ministry and the NCA, why did you not register our phone numbers?
Well, you see, but despite the collaboration, we cannot lose sight of the fact that the two institutions are separate with separate mandates. The whole idea of SIM registration is not the responsibility of NIA.
Is a SIM registration an afterthought?
It's
a government activity.
It is the responsibility of the National Communication Authority to oversee SIM re-registration.
SIM re-registration.
Our responsibility was to collect information of Ghanaians and issue them with identity cards. It is what it is.
Is it an afterthought? The SIM card registration?
It's not an afterthought at all. It is the case that when it comes to the mandate of the NIA, if you look at the LI 211 of the National Identification Register, it has always been clear regarding the 14 mandatory uses of
and
the
this
Ghana
is
card.
why.
But here's the point.
Yes.
From 2012, you will ask yourself how many people had registered for the Ghana card. How many people had the NIA registered? Let me put it that way. So you could not be seeking to enforce that particular law if you do not have Ghanaians in possession of the Ghana card, for instance. So other forms of identities had to be relied on for people to register their SIMs, so on and so forth. So the NCA has always been waiting for a time when NIA has built such a comprehensive database. Then now they can say they can proceed to cleaning up the whole system by ensuring that people can use their Ghana card.
Is incompetent, or there are two things I'm seeing. Either it is incompetent or it was an afterthought. How could the NCA be waiting when it was waiting to rely on data from the NIA after the NIA has built a very comprehensive structure? And we see the NIA building a very comprehensive structure. And that's why I began by asking you, what is the level of collaboration? And we have that kind of collaboration, and we don't see the light to work together and register the cards along, SIM cards along, but wait for the structure to be built and now come back for every single individual to go or walk up to the stations of the telcos and get their SIM cards registered.
You see, there are some learnings that we need to appreciate. Now, in the identity management space, if you have not captured 80% of your population, you can't talk about an identification system in place. You can't talk about a national identification system. So wherever the NIA started from, and started building the data gradually, it could get to a point that we currently find ourselves that more than 80% of the adult population are captured. Then at that point, you can say you now have the database. So you can now begin to rely on it to do what you want to do on a sustainable basis. So there was absolutely no way from the beginning the NCA could have, because NCA is not NIA. And NCA cannot control what NIA does. So NCA could not have said that from that beginning, let's go this way. They could only wait
but my problem
for that data to be built.
My problem
and that's where we are now.
We are relying on legal mandates.
Exactly.
To repeat activities that could be done in collaboration between two departments. Probably, if let's even assume you were under a different ministry.
Yes.
Probably under different ministries to give the same result. Here, we have the NIA under the Ministry of Communication, the NCA under the Ministry of Communication, talking about legal...
NIA is under the Ministry of Interior, not under the Ministry of Communication.
Okay, so, all right. However, different ministries. But we have these two entities who are giving us the same results, technically speaking, and could rely on that data, or even when you are capturing the data. I remember how my data was captured. I had to walk in, get my biometrics, everything done, my phone numbers taken, and even after that, when I received a call, or anybody called me, or I called a different person with my phone, my full name now was coming on the person's phone. And so to a larger extent, you had captured what you needed to capture. Why did we have to come back to this? Because of legal mandate. Why did we have to come back to now going to sit before, to the point that where I think currently the country is losing huge sums of money because by 80%, some people still don't have their cards. Some people maybe have their cards but have not been able to go back to link it. And we are losing money because of legal mandate.
Yeah, but that's the point. You talk about legal mandate. Is it Professor Tefua or myself who would flout that particular legal
Professor
mandate?
Tefua
and
then
yourself. somebody else gets up and say, I am taking NIA to court because you have violated your mandate. Is that what you wanted to say?
Professor Tefua and yourself.
Yes.
And probably Kwame Jan, my boss.
Okay.
And his boss.
Yes.
The NCA chair or the NCA CEO could sit together and say, let's draft a document and send it to maybe Parliament. Get the approval to do this together once and for all. Don't let Ghanaians come back to this hassle that we have gone through.
And I've also shared some wisdom with you here that it was not NIA's first attempt. We had tried this over the years. There were still quite some doubting Thomases out there as to whether this could be done or not. So we all needed to be patient to see how far NIA was going to come with it. And today we are talking about success. Despite the fact that it had happened in the past and really not succeeded. And within the identity management space, as I indicated earlier, when you do not have about 80% of your national population in a database, you can't talk about a national identification system.
I've taken too much time of the people that are watching us because I asked that they send in their concerns. And we have a bite that will play for you, some people's concerns that they've expressed. But let me go for a very quick break. When I come back, I'll be reading to you the messages that are coming and we'll try as much as possible to get answers. Stay with us. You're welcome back. So we are pressed for time, and because of that, I'll jump the video, but I'll try as much as possible to read as many messages that I can. And some of them are not questions, so I'll go straight. I'll read about maybe 10 or 15 of them. Then we note the ones which are questions. He answers them, and then I come back. This one says, good evening, boss. I'm David. My sister did her card since 2020. Up till now, she can't find her card. My question to the man there is that, is it her fault? So can I use my Ghana card to register my DAT phone number? That's a question. I'm Seth from Bekum, Bono region. Please, what is going on in Ghana here? This card can't help Ghanaians. Please, I'm David from Sabuba. My surname was omitted on my Ghana card. How would I get it corrected? Out of the 15 million cards issued, how many of them have been issued? He's answered that already. Please kindly ask Dr. Abudu, what are they doing to get Ghanaians living in abroad have their own Ghana card so that they can register their SIMs whilst living abroad? He will answer that. I was going to say maybe they will have to set a team outside the country as well. Once we're having diaspora teams here. People are softer here because of Ghana card, are suffering here because of Ghana card. That's what you want to say. I'm living outside the country. I have paid to use my MTN SIM to send money from where I am to my family back home in Ghana. My worry is there haven't been any arrangements at any of the Ghana embassies for those of us who are not in the country but use our local SIMs to have access to the Ghana card. How then is this my fault? if I haven't been able to re-register my SIM. Yet they blocked my number from 8th September to 11th September. With all due respect, what is the sense in what we are facing as Ghanaians? Please, my name is Ayuma Godfred from Binduri District, Upper East. Please, I want to know how much are you supposed to pay for your Ghana card when it's ready? Because I am confused. Good evening. I am Benjamin, please. Benjamin Eduakwa from Takrady, Ishim, a community inside STMA. And I did my card in 2020, but still have not gotten it. Whenever I go there, they tell me the card has not been printed. He is assuming that all the cards issued are accurate. Some of the cards have issues. James from Accra. So if NIA has printed over 16 million, it is estimated that Ghanaians about 15 years are 19 million. Why is Doctor praising himself? What then happens to the rest of the people? Daniel, related to Ghana card issue, I can tell you the project is laudable, but can tell you the management is poor and they are also poorly supervising the registration. I can for sure tell you for sure I did register somewhere in March 2022, but as I'm sending this message, NIA office at Dansuman or Ashaiman continually saying they are short of cards. Well, I'm sure I get the input of your message. Good evening. When will my son who registered for Ghana card get his card issued? You didn't mention your name. Hello, Metro TV. You have been the best media platforms and still the last man standing. Keep the fire burning. Now, the bottom line is government policy towards Ghana card registration and SIM blocking the major target for national development, or it's simply for political reasons, especially in 2024? What happens to national passport and health insurance? Is Ghana card more valuable than national passport? My name is Brown, aka Free Money. Good evening. Okay, we've seen this already. Ask him if they can't get the names of dead people's records at birth and death registry. If they want to take the names of dead people on the NIA, must I go form a queue to inform them of the dead relatives? His name is Martin.
Yes, I mean, you are the relative of the deceased. You are the only one who can vouch, who can prove that indeed you've lost a relative, and then present us with those records for that to be deleted. It is what the law says.
And those who are living outside the country, you don't have offices in the embassies across the
I don't want to give any hint, but except to say that work is ongoing, and very soon we'll be putting that out. We are collaborating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, and we are quite far advanced in that area.
Are we going to send a team to the various embassies to do registration?
We're not going to do that. We would much rely on Ghanaian officials working in these embassies.
Who don't understand your processes, missions, who are not technologically oriented.
Of course, but we can't ask them to just go and do registration.
But you can
training.
send a team to go maybe in Europe, stay here in a week.
Chief, whatever the modalities are, that has been worked out already.
But we are going to see registration.
So don't be afraid at all. Very soon we'll be putting that out.
Very soon we are going to go into Europe, US, North America to register.
Everywhere Ghanaians are.
Very soon. How soon is that?
Please don't let me provide any timelines, all right? So that you come back and tell me that you told us this.
Somebody sent a message that he sends back money. He has done the registration.
So that will happen.
His number will be blocked. He can't send the money again.
So that's a different conversation. As to what the NCA and the telecodes do with Ghanaians abroad in terms of SIM re-registration, I think you would have to bring an official from NCA into the studio to deal with those questions. Mine is a document that they need to go through this process. The avenues, the channels that we can provide for Ghanaians to get registered for the Ghana card.
Someone says, please tell Doctor, during the census, I'm sure you want to write census period, those who were 12, 13, and 14 are now adults. So he can't say today Ghanaian adult is 17 million. And out of the 17 million, it's not everybody who uses a phone. That's a very important one. Not everybody uses a phone.
So that it also makes the point. It also makes the point that people who have not yet registered for the Ghana card, for instance, probably do not need it for SIM registration. simply because they don't use phones. It's very much possible, right? So the close to 2 million Ghanaians who are yet to register and are within that particular age bracket, it's very much possible that in that population, you have quite a lot of people who don't use phones.
Somebody asked the same question that I was asking. Yes. Good evening. This Ghana card thing has made transactions more complicated and time-consuming. I thought with this Ghana card, it would have made things easier. But my brother, the time I used to do transactions without the Ghana card was quite quicker than when the Ghana card thing came. This beats my imagination. There was this one I was looking for. Newton, yes. Newton says, will persons with the Ghana card who are also SNIT contributors, NIA, and so on and so forth, have to go and queue to do radio registration like we're doing with the SIM cards?
Yeah, but that hasn't happened.
They are in different categories, like the NCA.
Wait,
they have different mandates.
Exactly. So let me make
but
this
point. But we are not queuing to see.
See, if you look at SNIT, NHIA, DVLA, they issue identity cards, don't they? So these institutions, NIA, would harmonize and integrate data so that once a Ghana card has been issued, it will serve the health insurance purpose, serve the SNIT purpose, serve the purpose for your tax identification number. But NCA and others are user agencies, or the telecommunication companies. They are user agencies. You don't really integrate. What would happen is that they will rely on your database for verification and to be able to render their services. But SNIT and others are institutions that we are harmonizing and integrating with. So they are two different things altogether.
This one says, I'll read this one and I'll ask you my very last question, then we can go. We are actually pressed for time. Producer is on my neck. This one says, greetings to Dr. Ganiyu and yourself. 1, are children under 15 years not allowed to have SIM cards? If not, shouldn't the NCA slow down on the blockage of the SIM cards? 2, did Huan Eng have a Ghanaian visa at the time of renewal or her Ghana card? Because we are told she entered illegally. If not, what document must foreigners present for the card renewal? Please answer that for me, and I'll quickly, and I'll
yeah, so foreigners come into our country with their own passport with a valid visa. And if the visa provides that a person should live in Ghana beyond 90 days, then that person is required by law to register for the non-citizen Ghana card. And that was exactly what Huan Yen is. So she came into the country, and then she registered for the Ghana card in 2014 after she had been in Ghana for more than 90 days. And that's what it is. And on the 3 occasions that she came back to the NIA, she simply came to do a renewal.
Should you pay money before you receive your card?
Not at all.
Some people are paying 350 cedis at certain locations.
Well, so they should tell us where those locations are, individuals who requested for money from them, and NIA will surely take the action against them. The only place that you have to pay money to go through the registration process are our 2 premium centers, the head office of NIA and the head office of CalBank.
The head office one got truncated. Have you resumed?
No, it has always been there.
I came there a time and they told me we have to come to, I think, CalBank or so.
For premium registration?
Yes, premium registration.
No, the head office has always done premium registration.
How much have you spent on the Ghana card registration so far?
Well, if this was part of my brief, I certainly would have put the figures together. But on top of my head, right from the beginning during mass registration, around $294 million.
So far.
Of which about $124 million was coming from the Ghana government, but the rest of the $169 million was coming from the partners.
We were told at a point that you had some of the cards piled up in your office rotten.
And we issued a statement to that effect, that these were cards that were defective, and we had brought the Board of Survey to do their audit, and they passed it off as defective cards that needed to be disposed.
From where you sit, are we going to use Ghana card for elections in 2020?
Well, but the EC has made it very clear that it's not that you...
From where you sit, are we going to use it for elections?
No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't. And that is factual. But we need to get what the EC said right. The EC says it is going to be a continuous registration process. With your Ghana card, you walk into any of their offices, then they'll put your name.
We're
on
having the
register.
universal banks and
It's as simple as that.
other institutions having the Ghana card as a sole card for opening an account and so on and so forth. If it so happens in 2024 that we are going to use it for registration, should we come back to you?
Well, but the EC has said that that's the only identity document they are going to rely on to compile a continuous register going forward. And that register will be a living document. So anyone who has not registered to vote with your Ghana card, you are able to do so.
Dr. Abudu Abdul Ganiyu is the Director of Corporate Affairs for the National Identification Authority. Loads of messages coming in. He's done well to answer virtually the very pertinent questions for us tonight. I hope you are satisfied. However, if you are not, keep your messages coming. We'll forward them to the NIA, and when we have them back here in the studio, we'll get them to answer. My name is Kwesi Afriyie. Good evening. Thank you for watching.